I really appreciate you taking the time, and you were early. I mean, how many artists can we say are early to interviews? You?
I am a professional. This is my profession. A lot of people would be good to remember that instead of being the rock and roll star, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. This is my job.
Absolutely. And am I getting you from England at the moment?
Yeah, I'm based in England. Yeah.
Wonderful. I do want to ask you some stuff about.
A little bit glary here, just a sec. That's better. Okay. That's better. You were glaring a bit. Yeah, there we are.
Great. Glare never hurts.
Depends on who's glaring. Okay.
Exactly. So there is a documentary about you. I don't have a documentary about me. Many successful entertainers don't have a documentary about them. How long had this one been in the works for?
Well, there was one that I started about 15 years ago that got aborted for various reasons. Mainly that some of the people involved, once they saw themselves on the screen, they freaked out and said, oh no, we're not signing the release. So it just kind of went by the wayside. This one was about, and I always had it on my bucket list because, to be quite honest, yes, I'm the first one. Obviously, that's in the history books. So if you want the story of the first one, here it is. So it's always been, I've always wanted to make a documentary and set the record straight, so everybody knows the whole story, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, you know. And a guy from Australia contacted me, and he said he wanted to do a documentary, so big on my bucket list. And he said to me, which is funny, I got to tell you though, I'm not a fan. I went, fine, okay. He said, no, don't get me wrong. He said, I like your music. I'm not a fan. So I said, okay. So then why do you want to make the documentary? That's the next obvious question. And he said, because I saw you on the talk show and you fascinated me. So I thought to myself, well, if I'm going to do this documentary with somebody, this is the guy who'll be objective. He won't be kiss ass, you know. And I made, make sure he's gone now. The only thing I made sure of, I've got the plumber here. I've said, and I stuck to this religiously. Have you seen the film?
Yes, I've had the pleasure of seeing the film.
So then you will know what I'm saying then when I say this. I had editing scissors, obviously, it's my story. And I said to him, I don't want, you know, oh, she's wonderful, da-da-da. I said, not interested in that kind of film. Of course, you're going to get nice things said. Of course, it's a documentary. Right. I said, I want honest, I want open, I want raw, I want the truth. And I promised him, I said, even if it's cringe, and there are some cringe moments in the film, if it's real, if it happened, and it's valid, it stays in. And so that's what I did. And I stuck to my word. There are parts there. When I went to see my first premiere in London, you know, I hadn't seen it with an audience. I hadn't seen it on the big screen. So a little bit, and I kind of snuck in and stood on the side, you know, to feel what the audience were feeling. And I was crying and I was wanting to crawl out of the theater at some points. And those cringe moments that I call them, are the best moments in the film.
Right.
Because they're the real moments. Yeah. Absolutely.
The documentary is wonderfully a deep dive. I say that because sometimes you see artist documentaries and they're really there to promote a new album or a particular era of their career, and they kind of whitewash certain things. And you didn't do that.
I didn't whitewash. Oh, not at all. And the response has been so terrific that I'm now doing a movie of my life. I've been signed to do a movie and we're working out the script. So people say, why? The reason is I wanted to put the record straight. I wanted the people to know my story. It's the only story you're going to get like that. Like I said, you know, you can't invent another girl that did it first. I was first. So I wanted people to know it wasn't easy. As you see, there was a lot of pitfalls. There were a lot of hurdles, emotional and success-wise, that I had to cross, you know. And what I wanted to make people aware of was that I didn't have a blueprint.
Right.
And you get that from the film. Who could I look at and say, oh, I want to be like her? They didn't exist. So I had to trust my vision of me, of what I wanted to do. So I'd see you got me talking serious now. So that's why I made the film, to put the record straight. Tell me, did you cry at all? Well, maybe you didn't cry, but did you get emotional?
Of course. Any documentary that has a sad moment along the way is going to get you there, especially if there's a good score behind it. So mission accomplished if you wanted to get some plumbing going.
Okay. Mission accomplished. I like it.
So back to you here. One of the things I love about your career, you're not the only person this is the case with. Depending on the country or the territory, you mean something different in that territory. You know, the U.S., they go, oh, okay, Happy Days. Yeah, she had a record deal, but Happy Days. And then other countries, exactly. And then other countries, it's like, well, this was the hit song. And then other countries, no, that was the hit song. Is that something that you enjoy, that you're not so easy to find where they go, hey, Dexy's Midnight Runners, come on, Eileen, that was it. That's not you at all.
Well, that's kind of true and it's kind of not. First of all, I've sold 55 million records.
Sure.
And the hits are the hits are the hits. They are. Even if it's not in America, the hits are the hits. Stumbling It was a million seller there. So there, everybody knows that one more than anything. They also know the other songs from On Happy Days because I did some of them on Happy Days. I think I did Double Gate Drive on there. I did All Shook Up. I did Maybe Too Young. I did a few of the hits on there. America's the only place where they say leather. All the whole world, they know that I also did Happy Days. Oh, Suzi Quatro, yeah, wasn't she in Happy Days? It's the opposite way around, but no, I don't mind. I've had a very varied career, and it's what I wanted. I never wanted to be boxed in, as you saw me say in the documentary. I am an actress. I am a musician. I am a singer. I am an author. I'm a poet. I am an artist. And so I don't want anybody to stop me from doing everything that I can do. And in a way, it's kind of wonderful that in America, I can go be Leather Tuscadero. You know, it's kind of great. And I do believe that everything in life happens as it should. And we all have our path, you know, So this is my path, whatever it's, and now people are discovering me all over again. So especially in America, I'm getting it all the time. Oh, we've rediscovered you. And, you know, your name is being mentioned at that academy or that frame that we shall not mention. My name's being mentioned all the time, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe this is my path to come along now with this documentary. Maybe that's what it is, you know. Maybe this is my time to shine again.
Yeah.
I'm in lockdown.
I don't want to call it an act 3 because usually act 3 is like the sad part, but the kind of resurgence that you're having is comparable to, do you know the comedian Gilbert Godfried?
Say again?
Do you know the comedian Gilbert Godfried?
No, I don't think I do.
Okay, well, he's a huge character actor that does a lot of voiceovers. And he has a podcast where he has on all sorts of people.
Just 1 second. 1 sec. Richard?
Yeah.
Did you want me?
No.
Oh, that's nice. My son, did you want me? No. Okay. All right, go ahead. Very nice to know his name.
Grounded.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So go on. So this comedian.
So there's a comedian named Gilbert Godfried, who's a big character actor and voiceover guy. And he started up a podcast because he really didn't have a ton going on. Yeah, he was working, but they're like, oh, you mean that guy from the 80s and 90s? And that was that. And then he started up a podcast, and it turned out to be maybe the most successful thing that he's ever done, which was just a hobby.
That was his path.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was his path. Go ahead.
So it's kind of like his act 3 was just an accident, and it's turned out to be more successful than anything he did, and without trying. Do you feel that in this point in your life that you do things just because you want to and they're successful without trying?
I've been around a long time. It's now 56 years.
Right.
In June, when I turned 70. I've been around a long time. I have earned the right to do what I want to do when I want to do it, and for the reason I want to do it. I don't need to earn money. I haven't needed to earn money for a long time. I'm in this business because I love it. I built myself now to this with my husband. We've built myself into doing the kind of gigs that I've always wanted to do. You know, not like festivals where you got to cut your set down. Oh God, I hate that. Even though they're fun, I don't like cutting my set down. I'm now doing all over the world in iconic places like Sydney Opera House, places like that. Mm-hmm. My 2-hour show, no support, 2 hours with an interval. So you get everything from the beginning of my career right up to the present day. And I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. I travel with between 7 musicians and 9 people. And then when I go to Australia, sometimes strip it back to the basic 5 people. I've done radio for many years. I'm happy doing what I want to do. I don't have anything, let's put it this way. I now don't have anything left to prove. I've been around a long time. So this is the icing on the cake. I just want to do what makes me happy. I want to do what makes me happy. I love entertaining.
Without trying, you just answered my follow-up question, which was, is there anything you still hope to do that you haven't done yet? You just answered that one.
I love, from the bottom of my feet to the tip of my head, I love entertaining. I love communicating with people. It's what I'm all about, you know. For me, my cycle is complete when I go onto that cold stage, and every audience is a different animal. It doesn't matter that you were good last night. Who gives a shit? You got to be good tonight. So when I say nothing left to prove, that's not entirely true. Every gig, you have to prove it again. And that's the correct attitude to have. If you go out there with your phony smile and you're going through the motions, get off the stage. Get off the stage. People are paying money to see you. Give them what you are, you know. See how passionate I am about it still. After all these years, I've never lost that feeling or that need or that joy. Sometimes I'm up there, like let's say like a big festival, like 10, 15,000 people. And it's happened to me more than once. And their hands are up and they're going crazy. And I think to myself, you pay me for this?
Right.
It's crazy. Anyway.
Well, one of the things I mentioned at the beginning was your Detroit roots. And the more time that goes by, the more you realize Detroit may be the best city in the history of American music because it gave the world Motown. It gave the world not only you, it gave the world all the garage rock, Eminem, Kid Rock, Insane Clown Posse, Iggy Pop, Madonna, Anthony Kiedis has roots there, Bob Seger, the list goes on and on and on, Grand Funk. Okay, did you realize that Detroit...
The neck. Don't forget the neck.
Oh, yeah. But did you realize that Detroit was this big mecca of music while you were going through there? Or do you think it just happened organically and coincidentally?
I was pretty aware when I was growing up that Detroit was pretty special. I knew it. I used to dance on a show when I was like 14, 15, just as we were starting the band. I lied about my age. Called Club 1270. So every week, every Saturday, it was a Saturday show, I would be dancing as part of the regular audience. And here I am, and right here is the Motown acts. And here I am, this far away. I am so a Motown fan. Jameson is my hero. And of course, all the white acts that you talk about, we played all the gigs together. So yes, Detroit is, I always knew it, has a grunge, a desperate energy. Does that say it right? Yeah, desperate energy. Oh, that's a good line for a song.
Write it down, and we just witnessed some history right there. So while you're gathering your thoughts.
Desperate energy. Ooh, I like that. Desperate energy, and then synergy. Yeah. I told you I'm an artist.
Oh, I never doubted that from the first second seeing the documentary. When's the last time you got out to Michigan?
I had my 60th birthday there. I had my 65th birthday there. I took over but I had the top room of the Motor City Casino. I've done 3 radio shows when I was with the BBC. I've now stopped being a DJ, but I was on there for like 15 years. I did three shows on Detroit. And most recently, I believe now it was 2 years ago, I did the big Dick Wagner charity thing there. And I went on stage with Mark Farner. And we did, what did we do? Sweet Little Rock and Roller. And I sang an Alice Cooper tune. And yeah, that was good. Yeah, so I do try to get back. And once this lockdown's over, I will get back again because I love Detroit. My heart never left there. You saw that in the documentary. Oh, that's the bit that makes me cry every time. You don't want to give too much away. You want people to see it, but you know which bit I mean.
And then you just got my follow-up question again, which is once the pandemic and the lockdown is over, what are you doing with your time? Can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, I mean, I did like 85 shows last year, and this year I had just as many, but they've all been postponed now, naturally.
Right.
Hold on. Thank you. I used my time. I wrote the next album with my son, because the last album, the current album, No Control, I wrote with him. You saw it on the video. Mm-hmm. And they took up the option, so we've written 14 songs during the lockdown. It's buzzing. This has really been creative for me. I've created my lyric book. So that's just been sent to my publisher, and I'm working on the script for the movie. So once this is over, I don't know what I'm going to do because the gigs won't be coming back for a while. How can you? So I don't know. I guess maybe we'll travel a little bit if we can. I mean, I haven't seen my husband since March 17th. Oh, so that's really? Not very nice. I know. He's stuck in Hamburg and I'm stuck here. We don't live together. So our life is going back and forth. And of course, all the borders came down. So, but I shall keep going until it's time to stop. And who knows when that will.
But I'm amazed with everything that you have going on in the time period when everybody's supposed to be very quiet and idle. So praise to you yet again, Suzi. So being respectful of your time here, in closing, any last words for the kids?
So say that again, that last bit.
Any last words for the kids?
I hope that everybody leaves watching this film feeling that they know me. That's what I hope. They take away a piece of me. That's what I always like. And even though they're taking away a piece of you, not the next Janis Joplin, the first Suzi Quatro. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much for your time. Okay, greatness. Thanks. Paltrocast.